Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR Today. Today's the day. It's Wednesday, August 25th, 2021. The man they call Meathead and the M.O.T.S, the Matthew on the street, Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew.
That's right. You might recognize me from just outside of the Allegiant Stadium restroom. You know what I found? That I had much better interviews when I got people after they had relieved themselves versus prior to relieving themselves. When you're a hard-hitting journalist, you kind of learn those things.
I didn't know we were starting off the program like that, but that's apparently what we're starting off with is the WWE Universe's urination habits.
Absolutely. Now, there was a lot less urination probably going on at Allegiant Stadium, due to the payment systems for concessions being down. Probably would have had those brand new urinals utilized a lot more. But you know what? That's par for the course. They're still working out the kinks there.
Wait, the Kinks were in concert live? I thought Ray Davies just passed.
No,
that might be a
no.
reference that's too old for our audience.
Yeah, no. They are the only concert I saw promoted there. Unfortunately, people passing. The Stones are coming in November, and we learned yesterday Stones drummer Charlie Watts passed away, unfortunately. But yeah, that was the only concert I saw on the marquee there at Allegiant. But I don't know, maybe they've got some more coming up in this side of 2021.
Well, let's not dilly-dally. Let's get into it. Matthew, who is the sponsor for this wonderful program this morning?
That's Collar and Elbow Brand, maker of wonderful Collar and Elbow Brand garments that you can purchase exclusively at collarandelbowbrand.com. Enter that code Linda, KLINDAKAY, and save yourself 10%. And, you can spend it on concessions. You can spend it, or you can invest it if you want to. I hear a lot of people are investing in Thomas Tender, which is my new, tender of choice. It's not a cryptocurrency.
Pause. Hold on. Was Allegiant Stadium accepting Thomas Tender?
You know what, man? They'd have been in a lot better shape if they were.
All right. Linda K, LINDAKAY, 10% off everything at collarandelbowbrand.com. When the payment systems was down, if they had Thomas Tender, which is really, as much as a Stanley Nickel, or a Schrute Buck.
Yeah, no, the cool thing is, Thomas Tender, it's worth basically right now. You can get it on the ground floor because there's so few people that do hold Thomas Tender.
And so few people who actually care.
Basically, it could be worth whatever you want to make it worth.
Fair enough. All right. Let's get into some news before we go into talking about really a big night. And we're going to break down NXT from last night as well. Matthew, first off, the news really comes from our Matthew Thomas on the streets. Matthew on the streets, the M.O.T.S. Matthew, tell us what happened down in Vegas on Saturday.
We started off the show kind of alluding to the issues they had at the arena, or at the stadium rather, but that was a small piece of the whole puzzle that was SummerSlam. Allegiant Stadium, beautiful facility, really easy to get in and out of. I went expecting, basically to go back to a WrestleMania experience in Orlando in 2008. I know you were there. I don't know if your wait time and what was similar to my experience, but I remember being outside that stadium hour and a half or so in the not as hot as the sun would have been in Vegas. Allegiant Stadium, man, Allegiant Stadium. Once we got in our the line that we were supposed to be in, we were 5 minutes in before we could get in. It was super quick, and WWE. Actually, not quite an ice cream bar, but they were giving everybody who entered a their very own WWE towel that you could, do whatever you wanted to do with the towel. I know that it's gonna adorn my my bathroom towel collection from here on out. But it's So they were giving you 5 minutes inside till you got in the gates, giving you your own towel. Very, very beautiful, gorgeous stadium. And, a really good crowd, man. Everybody there. This was the largest I guess this was what was the announced attendance at Mania? Do you remember?
51,236 was SummerSlam. Mania, I believe, was in the 25,000 area.
Yeah. So, I mean, man, this is the biggest event that we've had probably since Rumble of 2020. So everybody just so happy to be there, just around people that had similar interests and for, the biggest wrestling show that we've seen since the Rumble in 2020, man. It was just fun. It was a great atmosphere. And overall, I thought it was a really well done card. Of course, high spots that you would expect. I mean, Becky's appearance, Brock's appearance, some interesting things though that surprised me, takeaways that I didn't necessarily expect, how over the Usos are. This was not your kind of smarky crowd where, everybody's booing the faces and cheering the heels. For the most part, it was a, 85% or so, pro babyface crowd. But the Usos extremely over. Something that I think translated very well on Peacock, too. Not a surprise to anybody. Goldberg, not over as much. This was a very pro Bobby Lashley crowd during the semi-main event, even to the point that it was a pro up Goldberg's knee with the chair and then assault his minor son crowd. I mean, that was getting pops there. So, you had a lot of that going on, but overall, just a very enthusiastic crowd and a really good show, man.
So, overall, I know that we also had Matthew on the street doing audio as well. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning. Matthew, we're going to try to get that all into one special edition. We may be doing that tomorrow because we have a big night here in the Wisconsin area, specifically the Milwaukee area. AEW Dynamite coming to town. Linda Kay and the man they call Meathead going to be on the streets in the building. We're going to be watching the kid with the fanny pack, Cal Hero. He's got a match on Dark as well. Plus, after we were reviewing the details, it looks like this week and next week, the Dynamite tapings will also include a Rampage afterwards as well, because there is no announced dates for the Rampages. So tonight's Dynamite, it is understood that they're going to be recording Rampage afterwards, and then next week's Dynamite in Chicago will have a Dynamite recorded after a Rampage as well.
Man, that's going to be some fun hours of professional wrestling. Now, my question for you, have you decided, are you taking a Nelson Mandela sign? Are you taking a Nostradamus sign? Are you taking a Thomas Tender sign? What sign bearing my likeness are you taking to the event?
If there's any signs that would be taken, it'd be a sign for the team they call Meatheads, the number one team in the PWR draft. And thank you for the segue there. We didn't really throw it out on the Twitter yet. We'll throw it out this week, but the totals are updated. Matthew Thomas, after Saturday's SummerSlam, you had taken the lead. I mean, it was short-lived because the next day, the man they call Meathead and Cameron Grimes pushed their way to the moon, back on top. The totals brought to you by the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe. The team they call Meatheads leads now 1,305. Second place, breathing on my neck like a creepy Grandpa Joe Biden, 1,280. And Linda Kay, with the very big pickup of Damian Priest right before the pay-per-view, getting herself a title win, is sitting at 1,060. Linda, even though she's 300 or 200 some, 245 behind me, she has got a very heavy AEW roster. I'm very nervous about Linda Kay coming up with this all-out pay-per-view on the way, but very close. And Matthew Thomas, you were riding high with the Becky Lynch surprise return and title win, but unfortunately you lost 2 belts on Sunday night at TakeOver.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it a little bit later in the NXT recap, but I'm glad you got those points for winning that WWE shop belt that you did.
We'll explain that in just a little bit here. Let's talk now about NXT from last night. The show starts off with the aforementioned Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. The victory took him to the moon. Cameron Grimes singing along to his song. That's the Cameron Grimes we like, where he's pointing at his rear going, "Kiss my grits." Your thoughts on the opening promo, and then we'll get your thoughts and we'll go right back to what happened at the end of the show.
Oh, it was great. And it was great to see a celebration promo that doesn't necessarily get interrupted by a heel or used as a launching point to another feud. It was what it was. He got the $1 million title, and this was just, a great segment to feature Cameron Grimes. And even if he's not wrestling, man, I think we need this each week, similar to what we got actually at WrestleMania. And I haven't gone back and watched the show. I mean, I assume it was on the show, but just the Nakamura appearance that we got with him and Boogs, so they can come out, play the song, and everybody have a good time and leave. It's okay to have stuff that's there for entertainment value that doesn't necessarily move the needle along sometimes.
Cameron Grimes is walking DiBiase out to the limo, right? Because Cameron Grimes is going to stay around, and DiBiase is going to drive off. And, all good things must come to an end. Grimes gives the $1 million title back to Ted, but Ted wants him to have it, so he thinks of him and what they've accomplished every time he looks at it. Grimes takes the title back, but notices it feels kind of light, right? Like a bit different material. Grimes flips it around, looks at the back, and Ted has switched out the original $1 million title with a WWE shop replica. Ted does his laugh. Grimes also laughs, but that does not affect the PWR draft because, as you noticed, he noticed it was different. He held the original championship at TakeOver.
Yeah.
He won the title. It doesn't matter what he's carrying around to signify that title. My man's the champion.
We would have had some fun with that if that happened on the pay-per-view, though. That would have been an interesting little scenario to score if you had a quote-unquote title loss on the same show you had a title win.
Yeah, and to be honest, we've mentioned this a few times. The specifically the NXT Championship belt. Watching Karrion Kross take it off, so loud you can hear the Velcro rip. Those are not real belts. Those
not
are shop
cool,
replicas.
Man. Not cool. There is no.
What's the worst is they have the fake the fake buckles on the outside, and all you hear is.
Is that something they just scrapped at some point, during developmental? It's like, these guys have enough on their plate. We don't need to have them mess with actually buckling a belt. Let's put some Velcro on there.
Come on, man. I mean, if you have that issue, then carry the belt over your shoulder.
Yeah,
if you have that issue, wear it like Riddle does, around his neck and around his shoulder.
100%, or just go old-fashioned, man, and make it part of the custom where if you're wearing it on your waist around the ring, the ref has to unbutton it, and vice versa. When you want.
That's how the champions used to have it applied to them.
100%, man.
Put the belt there, and a referee would put it on, or you'd spin it to your front, put the buckles on, and then spin the belt around. Remember, Raquel Gonzalez was doing that, where she was wearing the belt backwards.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And I mean, that is, I'm not going to say it's a little thing because I don't think it's a little thing. It is the appearance and how your champions come across.
I mean, we understand it's a prop, but I don't want to hear the damn Velcro. I mean, it honestly makes it look like you're playing with a kid's toy.
Oh, 100%.
All right. Ridge Holland and Timothy Thatcher, Toothless Timmy. So after the, the injuries that they had over in Pete Dunne's group, even though I don't think Pete Dunne's group ever had a name, even when it had Pat McAfee, I don't know if they ever had a name.
I think it was called the Dungeon.
Gross. Don't ever call it that again. That was gross. Mm-hmm. Ridge Holland takes on Timothy Thatcher. Dunn's group is all back together. Lorne Birch, Lorne, and who's the fourth guy? But they're all back. Ridge Holland's there as well. Ridge Holland getting the win over Timothy Thatcher, Toothless Timmy. To be honest, as much as I love Tim Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa, I can't recall them winning a lot.
Yeah. These two matched up really good, and it was a good pairing. I'll tell you, man, when I was watching this, and we were talking last week or week before, a potential missed opportunity for the WWE title match at SummerSlam. Who else could you have put in that Goldberg spot? We mentioned Walter. That was kind of a bit of a pipe dream, but my goodness, man, how great would Ciampa Lashley been in that spot at SummerSlam? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right, let's
just
jump
so much you can do with this NXT talent.
Yeah, let's jump to the end of the hour, top of the hour segment, and it's the new NXT champion, the first ever 3-time NXT champion, Samoa Joe. and really it's a reset. We don't have Karrion Kross there to ask for a rematch. We've got Joe looking for new, competition. Here's who came out. We had L.A. Knight. Yeah. We also had Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne, I think, is legitimate.
Yeah.
With Samoa Joe. L.A. Knight needs to be there. Won't win it, but he needs to be there. Okay. And Kyle O'Reilly.
It's good.
And
it's
Kyle
good
O'Reilly technically is legitimate too, but I don't think it's him. I think it's Pete Dunne.
Yeah. Same here. Same takeaway. And the thing with O'Reilly, man, I love his in-ring work. I'm not a fan of this current character. This cool Kyle thing, it doesn't feel super genuine or realistic. With his body of work, man, it feels like it's a square peg in a round hole, or a round hole in a square peg, or whatever the saying is.
Be careful about how many holes and pegs you keep talking.
And well, he's trying to put something in something that ain't quite working for me.
Fair enough. All right. Let's talk about the 2021 NXT Breakout Tournament Finals. Carmelo Hayes, Odyssey Jones. The winner's Carmelo Hayes, and I thought that Odyssey Jones was the guy that they were going to use because he looked like a guy that they want to push. But no, the Carmelo Hayes is your winner.
No, 100%. And that was a bit of a surprise to me. I was still hoping there would be a recount and my man Duke would come out and just be awarded the champion for just being a cool, heelish sounding Australian kind of cool guy like he is. I thought he was my pick from the start.
Dude, you mean John Wayne?
Yeah. yeah. I wanted John Wayne to win this accolade, but that didn't quite happen. But yeah, no, it was what it was, and look forward to seeing what they do with him.
All right, it's Dunn, Ridge Holland, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch. That's their group. But again, I think it's Pete Dunne and Joe. I think that's the next push. I think that's where we need to go. By the way, there's a date set for Index. Dexter Loomis and Indy Hartwell. They set a date. It landed, ironically, on a Tuesday.
Yeah. How fancy is that, man? I might have to definitely that's something we want to mark our calendars for, put in our planners, man. Make sure you're not what we really need, man. I really need to save the date that I can put on my refrigerator so I don't forget that.
Save the date. Hopefully your DVR catches it, right? Let's talk main event. Hit Row versus Legado del Fantasma. I love the way Legado del Fantasma came out in the strictly Mexican wrestling garb that they had on. Absolutely perfect. Hit Row can't do really much wrong either. They look great. They look amazing. Love this match. And the interference at the end from Elektra Lopez attacking B-Fab, which allowed for the distraction. Escobar goes back in and rolls up Scott for the pin to get the win with a handful of tights. Your thoughts on...
Without a doubt, it was a great match. They match up very well together, and there was no punctuation at the end of this. I mean, this thing continues, and it finally dawned on me as we were going off the air with this in the main event spot. It's the end of August now. We got to be getting close to War Games, don't we? And this is the time of year they normally break that out. I think this is the
same time, because remember they move stuff around now.
Yeah, I think if they are trying to go for that September, October, I think these are the two stables. These are the two factions that go at it.
By the way, all reports have Adam Cole being reportedly a free agent with the two prominent companies now. Right? I mean, two just going head to head. AEW's really made a name for himself, especially with the Punk debut after 7 years being off the air. There's talk that Adam Cole may show up in AEW. I don't know if I want him there, to be honest with you. Not that he wouldn't be a great talent, but not today, not right now. It would be poor timing.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, man, they've got all the momentum. And I think that we're in that period of time where that's going to be the hot spot to go. And the people that the AEW star that goes to WWE, we're still, I think, a handful of years before that person even exists. And, I think if Cole was to stay, there would have to be something pretty solid for him on
the main roster.
On the main roster, because we know where NXT is seemingly headed right now. Even if it just kind of stays the same, man, that brand is not getting any priority.
No, it's like they're spinning their wheels in mud, to be honest with it.
And interestingly enough, and you can make a case to do it, you can make a case not to do it, but Karrion Kross's premiere, or not his premiere, but his appearance on Raw the other night, I don't know that there was
which is full on. He's on Raw now. He's done in NXT.
And I don't even know that the NXT title drop or anything was mentioned. And you can make the case not to mention it to keep him strong for Raw. I get that. But for your champion who lost the title the night before, for that storyline not to even be mentioned, I think that does encapsulate kind of where they're at with that brand right now.
I don't want to go back into the Karrion Kross conversation. Something's not jiving there for me. But let's talk about Adam Cole again real quick. Adam Cole, the first ever North American champion. He's a one-time NXT champion, a one-time NXT Tag Team champion, and he's the second NXT Triple Crown champion. He also won the 2018 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic with O'Reilly and 7 different NXT year-end awards between 2019 and 2020. Adam Cole's a star. And, I mean, he definitely smacks of a CM Punk, Shawn Michaels hybrid, honestly. I really do think that the main roster, SmackDown, might be the best place for him.
Yeah, and if that doesn't happen, I know what you're saying about AEW.
Not to cut you off there, Matthew, but if the Daniel Bryan thing is 100% locked in, Daniel Bryan debuting at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York for AEW Dynamite, he could take a Daniel Bryan spot.
Yeah, no, he could. And, if we're not talking about AEW, I mean, he is somebody that the powers that be at an Impact, or, if Billy Corgan wanted to throw around stupid money, that could be the franchise player for an Impact or an NWA.
Could you imagine a Nick Aldis, Adam Cole match?
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. I feel like NWA, they need that other guy that's not Nick Aldis right now. That person, like, they need a defector. And, I mean, Cole could be that guy.
The forbidden door is open. They don't need a defector so much as they need to make that cross.
Yeah.
Not the Karrion Kross, but the cross.
And the thing of it is, he goes to AEW, it gets attention, but there is that potential for him to, kind of get lost there and fall into the mold. Not the case with that's somebody who would get new viewers on Impact, who would get new viewers to NWA. Who honestly, I don't
hasn't Adam Cole been unofficially part of the Bullet Club here or there?
Yeah, no, you're right.
We wish we future book, we think it out. So maybe that stuff is going to happen. Again, we knew the Punk thing was going to happen, but we didn't say it was going to happen. We played along with it, and I like them not advertising it. We didn't advertise it either, unintentionally, or intentionally not advertised, but we didn't mention it. So tonight, Milwaukee Dynamite, Milwaukee Rampage. I cannot confirm or deny yet if there will be a program tomorrow. My hope is all the Matthew on the Street stuff will make it to air tomorrow in the podcast, but we'll have to see. You never know. There might be some live audio from Milwaukee Dynamite as well. We'll see what happens. Maybe Linda and the man they call Meathead sneak in backstage at Dynamite. I don't know. Maybe we get the kid with the fanny pack on the air. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and with the building that you're going to, with it not being a brand new stadium, the likelihood of you being able to find a trough urinal is a lot higher. And to be able to conduct the interview around the trough.
I'll tell you it's 0, Matthew Thomas, because I've been in Milwaukee. We don't all piss in the same area with our dicks hanging out.
Well, I think you're just it's a lesser experience for it.
It's not Chicago. No pun intended. For Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead. Hey, thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.